I think if I can say in the spirit of ethics of AI, that's a very fair question within quotes on the fair. This is a topic which has personally intrigued me, and while I'm doing my postdoctorate in this research of what I called as the golden pyramid for the future of AI and ML, which is looking at assessment of any implementation of AI ML through a pyramid of what are the fundamental values which should be inculcated into the AI system, and what is the ultimate value which it is going to deliver to the stakeholders, and how is it going to be evaluated when the entire implementation happens. But more from a personal context, I'd like to say, I often wonder, inspired by the movie Matrix and also doing philosophy research on the topic of connecting quantum realities with modern Industry 4.0 technologies, I wonder if we are, at this moment, actually living in one of the universes of a multiverse which is created by robots and, if I can say, automation. So are we, in our own sense, human bots? So this talk has often, I would say, not only intrigued me, but also bothered me in terms of the need, therefore, to live in an AI and ML safe world, not just for humans, but also an AI ML safe world for the robots, like the question which was asked in today's session. I would say if you look at the evolution, and coming from a background of industries such as the banking financial services, when I actually started my financial stints in large multinational companies working for CXO and chairman of leading financial institutions, this was the subprime crisis, right, which was largely triggered, I would say, by human behavior at scale. But there are several papers which look at this not just as a financial phenomenon, but they also look at it as an inherent, I would say, greed mentality of a certain section of people to make money or to own, if I can say, assets, and therefore leading to the market exploding. Now, the reason I give this example, what is the need to study fairness, accountability, transparency in a world which pre-subprime crisis was more focused on human elements or aspects which would trigger such, I would say, global phenomenon. We are also today currently living in a global pandemic affected world. We are in fact seeing, I would say, not just the new post-COVID normal, but we are actually seeing the new post-COVID extraordinary situation, which not just human beings are living in, but also businesses are facing. And as more and more of artificial intelligence, humanoid robots, I would say personal assistants, getting integrated not just into our devices, but be it our smartwatches, be it intelligent, I would say, miniature robots, which are helping people, like I come from the healthcare industry, and these are more and more getting embedded within the human frame. And the human being, therefore, is not something which is inanimate, right? The human being is somebody who, a she or a he, who is actually feeling emotions. So if there is going to be this constant overlap and integration of more machines, more of bots, more of robots in the new extraordinary world which we live in, it is going to be very, very pertinent for us as data scientists, as machine learning enthusiasts to consider these aspects. And there have been also, I would say, increase in the autonomy of not just businesses, but of mission critical systems. Earlier, if you see in the Cold War times or pre-Cold War or post-World War II situations, when there was a frantic and hectic pace of accelerating, I would say, dominance when it came to scientific knowledge, today technology has broken that barrier. Technology has become pervasive. Technology has become, in a sense, equally accessible to everybody. So when technology and more open source versions of it, especially in AI ML, is available at scale for free for anybody to do what they want to do, we'll also have to factor that this can have negative consequences. And we've seen this in recent incidents where automatic drones have been flown between countries. We have seen this in cases where there is a nuclear holocaust threat, because all of this is still automated and controlled. So we do not want not just a rogue human being to transgress the barriers of or the boundaries of human values, but we also need to build, therefore, this ethical, if I can say, DNA into machines and the machine learning algorithms and AI systems which we are implementing. I would say it's actually $1 trillion opportunity for us, because this is a very, very niche area. And in fact, I'm doing my postdoctoral research in this field of ethics in AI and machine ethics and machine learning ethics. And the more I go into the topic, I realize there is so much of unexplored realms or domains. And this needs a fundamental understanding, not of machines or improving data accuracy or considering data sets which are at a big data scale, but actually also needs a psychological evaluation, right? So it's going to be very difficult, literally, to make a machine think like a human being. But just like a human being realizes or learns from his own mistakes, and I would say in civilizations across the world, we have the concept of committing an act and either getting rewarded for the act or repenting on the act and learning from the mistakes thereon. Therefore, for machines also to build these fundamental tenets of fairness, accountability, transparency, I think a whole lot of human intervention is required, where they will be able to train, they will be able to take not just the sample data sets which are being programmed to incorporate a certain level of fairness, but also take situations of anomaly, situations of uncertainty, situations of complexity. And I would like to talk about Ralph Stacey's complexity matrix here. In fact, it's interesting. Ralph Stacey is a management thinker who proposed the framework, himself moved away from it several years back. And you may ask, why this dichotomy and what is the relation to the question which is asked here? If we are to train machines on the ambiguous human situations, which require not just decision-making based on data or insights based on experience, we will have to look at situations or circumstances in the environment in which this AI/ML program is working. And that can come only by humans further training through data sets, through, I would say, reinforced learning of situations which would normally not occur in ordinary circumstances. I would like to answer this question again, being, if I can say, a quantum physics postdoctoral researcher. We talk about the famous experiment of the observer effect, right? So when in the early 1920s, when Schrödinger and a few scientists observed at a subatomic scale the behavior of an electron, the moment there was an observer who was placed at the two slits through which an electron was shot through an electron gun, it behaved exactly opposite in the way you would have expected it to behave. Similarly, I would say in this case of Sentinel AI, it is quite a possibility, I would say, from a quantum angle, because we as a human being, or the person who reported this Lambda incident, if you look at quantum explanation for that, the very phenomenon of observing and believing that inhuman, or I would say not inhuman, but an unreal object or a program could behave in a sentinel way is very much possible. So I think it is also driven, therefore, like in many decision-making situations, on the biases, the perceptions which a person had encountered in a situation like Lambda. Maybe he got so I would say accustomed to interacting with it on a let's say a chat stream on a regular basis, and maybe he had so few human interactions, and that biased his psyche to think that the bot was real. Now, I'm not saying that's not a possibility. Like I said, we live in a world of quantum possibilities, and applying that observer effect here, so the person who was interacting with Lambda observed it to be human, and therefore it was. So that's my, if I can say, quantum explanation for the same. I would certainly hope not. And at least one positive reassurance here is, I think humanity, civilizations have always learned from their past mistakes. And since machine learning and AI is based more on the concept of both supervised and unsupervised learning and past data sets, it also again therefore becomes very subjective with what kind of training are we feeding it to. So, and in whose hand is this AI ML system? So for example, in the kind of warlike situations which we have seen recently, there have been many instances when the very same AI ML, for example, a drone, which was using, say, image recognition and flight navigation and whatever, not to navigate and deliver something, was also used to attack a particular country. So I would say, more than can AI systems become hostile, we'll have to study the intention of people who are using and designing these systems. And is there an intentional, I would say, human motive here, which is driving to situations where you would really see that the AI system or the ML algorithm is becoming hostile? Fully depends on who is using it and what is the motive. But I would say, left to themselves, as somebody asked me, and I'm a big advocate of robo rights, I think AI ML are really, really cute and harmless things which will get along very well, maybe better than humans. I'd say this is one of the first times I'm coming to a conference on Machinecon, and I'm really grateful to Analytics India magazine for having given me this opportunity, and also for talking on a subject which is very close to my heart. And it's always good because this kind of, for me, creates an amalgamation of not just people from diverse fields and industries, but I think the thought leadership which gets generated on the fly. It's almost like a machine learning model which is learning on the fly, when so many people come and talk of different topics, different perspectives, especially in the interactive sessions like these and the Q&A, I think new dimensions are opened up. So I would say for Machinecon, for me, has been really awesome, and it's absolutely a new experience for me, but I'm enjoying every minute of it. I'm sure I'll be back next year too.